Hi. So in this video, I'm going to take up one of the requests from a student. This is Faisal Iqbal, and his request was to try and understand location of roots in a quadratic equation. So I'll just share my understanding of how you solve problems involving location of roots. So just go through this video, and you should be able to solve problems based on this concept. So the first thing is you need to know the graph of a quadratic equation. So the graph of, for example, this function y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. This graph looks like this if a is greater than 0 and d is greater than equal to 0. And if a is less than 0 and d is greater than 0, it looks like this. So this is my graph, and these are the points where there are the roots, right? And there are two roots here, alpha, beta, and this is a less than 0. So basically the graph looks, there are 6 cases for the graph. So let me just show you all of them. So if you have a y and x axis like this, and I'll draw another one like this, and let's draw the 6 cases. So this case is when a is greater than 0, and this is when d is greater than 0. This is d less than 0, and this is d equal to 0. So here there are two real roots, which are alpha and beta. Here there is no real root, and here there is equal roots. Equal roots are basically two repeated roots, alpha, alpha. And similarly, there are 3 cases here. So you have graphs like this, or like this, or like this. So you have d greater than 0 here, d equal to 0 here, and d less than 0 here. Exact same cases. There are two real roots here and one real root here, repeated, and no real roots here. So if you understand the graph of y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c in all these 6 cases, then you will be able to solve your location of roots problems. Okay. So here the discriminant d is basically b square minus 4ac. For more theory on this, like how we got this graph, you should refer to parabola section in SL Loni, or just look at any standard book. This is very straightforward stuff, and it is there in most of the standard books that you will see. Now, let's think about what we will do if you get different questions based on where the roots are, right? So just hold on for a second. Okay, sorry for the brief interruption. Okay, so this is if alpha beta are more than k and k is a real number, how do we solve this condition? Like what condition do we write for this one? So you take 2 cases, and where the graph is like this or like this, right? So either you have a is greater than 0 or a is less than 0, and in both those cases alpha beta are these roots, and you have to say that alpha beta are is greater than k, right? So k must be somewhere here, right? Then only you can say alpha beta is greater than k, right? So in this case, we can say the conditions are the vertex of the parabola here is x is equal to minus b by 2a. this point here, which is the midpoint between the roots, is x is equal to minus b by 2a. Similarly, vertex of the parabola here is again x is equal to minus b by 2a. And what we have to say in both the cases, we have discriminant should be greater than 0 because two roots are there, and you should have k is less than minus b by 2a. And notice that here you have f of k is positive. At k, the value of the quadratic is positive. So f of k is greater than 0 here. Here you have the conditions discriminant greater than 0, k is less than minus b by 2a. And here you notice that f of k is negative here, right? F of k is less than 0, correct? So when a is less than 0, f of k is less than 0. When a is greater than 0, f of k is greater than 0. So we can actually, instead of doing two separate cases like this, we can combine these two and say that a times f of k must always be greater than 0, right? Notice why, because a is positive, then this is positive. So total product is positive, and here a is negative, this is negative. So total product is again positive. So in this particular case, when alpha beta are greater than some real number, you can combine both of these cases and say the final condition is d is greater than 0, k is less than minus b by 2a, and third one, a times f of k is greater than 0, right? So this solves for the case when alpha beta are greater than a real number k, right? And for all types of quadratics, right? So similarly, you will realize that if alpha beta are lesser than some number k, you will have graphs like this. K is here, or like this when k is here, right? Both cases alpha beta are here, and we can think in a similar manner and realize that again d is greater than 0. This time, however, k should be greater than minus b by 2a, and again a times f of k should be positive. A times f of k should be positive. Notice why? Because here a is negative and f of k is negative, and here a is positive, f of k is positive. So this is the condition for alpha beta being lesser than some real number, right? So we have seen two possible cases. Now let's do the condition when a real number is in between two roots, right? Case 3 is when a real number is in between both roots, in between both the roots, correct? So the graph should be somewhat like this, either this where k is a real number here and alpha is here, beta is here, or it could be like this where k is a real number here, alpha is here, beta is here, right? So what we can say here is discriminant greater than 0, and notice that f of k is negative, right? F of k is less than 0. And here we can say that discriminant greater than 0 and f of k is greater than 0, right? Now, obviously, this is the case when a is greater than 0, and this is the case when a is less than 0. So again, we can combine this and this and say that the product of a times f of k is always less than 0, right? In both the cases, because here it is negative and positive, and here it is positive and negative, right? So finally, the condition for us will be if k lies between the roots of a quadratic, we can always say that discriminant d will be greater than 0 and a times f of k will be less than 0, right? This solves for all possible cases. Okay. Now, another case that we will look at is case number 4, where we say that exactly one root of the quadratic lies in the interval lies in the interval K1 to K2, where K1 is less than K2, right? So you can have a situation like this where alpha is here, K1 is here, beta is here, K2 is here. Or you could have a situation like this where alpha is the root between them. So K1 is here, alpha is here, K2 is here, and beta is here, right? Correct. So the only time when one root lies between is when f of K1, notice f of K1 is less than 0 and f of K2 is greater than 0 here. And here f of K1 is greater than 0 and f of K2 is less than 0, right? F of K2 is negative, f of K1 is positive. So we always have the product f of K1 multiplied by f of K2 is less than 0, right? We always have this situation happening. So we can write the overall condition for this as discriminant greater than 0 and product of f of K1 f of K2 is less than 0. And these two conditions will hold even if a is negative. So if a is negative and you have K1 here and beta here and K2 here, still f of K1 is positive and f of K2 is negative. So this condition holds for all cases, and it proves that exactly one root of the quadratic will lie in this interval, right? Now, if both the roots lie inside an interval, that is a separate concept. So that is case 5. Case 5 will be if both the roots alpha beta lie in K1 K2, right? So the graph should be somewhat like this. K1 should be here, alpha beta and K2 should be here. Or it could have been the opposite graph. It could have been like this, and K1 is here, alpha, beta, and K2 is here, right? Now here what you can say is first condition is D should be greater than 0. Then second condition is K1 should be less than minus B by 2A is less than K2. Minus B by 2A is somewhere in the middle. And third condition is f of K1 is greater than 0 and f of K2 is greater than 0. And here you would write D is greater than 0, K1 is less than minus B by 2A less than K2. And you will write f of K1 is less than 0 and f of K2 is less than 0, right? So you can combine both of these conditions and eventually say that if both roots lie inside K1, K2, you will have this final condition for all types of quadratics. D should be greater than 0, then K1 should be less than minus B by 2A is less than K2, and the product of f of K1 and f of K2, the product of these two should always be positive, right? Here also negative, negative product will be positive, and here also positive, positive, it will be positive, right? So if you understand the graph, you can actually derive all of these conditions yourself. Like there is no need to memorize any of this because you will just put the K1, K2, alpha on the number line. And after that, you will realize what is the value of f of K1, f of K2. So just go through all the 5 cases that I have listed here one by one and think through it. And you should be able to handle questions on quadratic location of roots. So if you have any other doubts, feel free to message me on actually just fill out the Google form with your concept, with your problem or your idea that you find difficult, and I will try and make more videos as I go forward to solve your problems. I have some more requests in the Google form and I will get to them one by one. So stay tuned for more videos like this. See you guys next time.